David Geary was a 30-year-old student studying for a PhD in computer science at Columbia University in New York. Last night, just before midnight, Geary was walking through Morningside Park, right next to Columbia's campus. That's when, out of nowhere, a man knifed him in the stomach. Geary collapsed and died a short time later. Then Geary's killer knifed a 27-year-old Italian tourist who had arrived in New York just days earlier. According to a witness, the tourist yelled, "Why? Why? Help me." The witness said the suspect was, quote, ecstatic and howling with glee as he repeatedly plunged the knife into his unsuspecting victim. A few minutes later, the killer threatened another man with a knife before cops finally arrested him. Authorities identified the killer as Vincent Pinckney, a member of the gang Everybody Killers. He was out on parole at the time of the last night's stabbing spree. He has 11 arrests dating back nearly a decade. In 2015, Pinckney was convicted of gang assault for repeatedly slashing a man in the face. None of it was enough to keep him behind bars. So last night, he headed to Morningside Park, the same park where exactly almost 2 years ago, 3 thugs ambushed and murdered a first-year Barnard College student as she was looking down at her cell phone. After a year and a half of defunding the police and building monuments to George Floyd, Morningside Park hasn't gotten any safer. Think about the implications of that. Authorities can't even secure a park a few steps away from one of the most well-known universities in the world. If it's dangerous there, it's dangerous everywhere. The New York of the early 1990s is back. And it's not just New York. Many of this country's biggest cities are going backwards in the same way. The city of Philadelphia, my hometown, just set a new all-time record for murders. The 513 murders in Philadelphia this year breaks the city's previous record of 500, which was set in 1990. Just days ago, a 14-year-old boy in the city was shot 18 times.
Samir Jefferson, a 14-year-old Thomas A. Edison High School freshman, was waiting for the bus near Wyoming and Rising Sun in Feltonville Monday afternoon around 3:30 p.m. when police say 2 people got out of a car and chased him, firing off about 35 rounds. Jefferson was hit 18 times and ran a block before collapsing. The Rite Aid at the busy intersection was covered in bullet holes Tuesday.
This is happening all over the country. Louisville, Kentucky, Tucson, Arizona, and Columbus, Ohio have also set new murder records this year. And with just under 2 months left in 2021, Indianapolis has broken its criminal homicide record for the 2nd consecutive year. Cook County, which includes Chicago, just surpassed 1,000 homicides for the first time since 1994.
I've never seen 1,000 homicides for the whole 17 years I've been in this office.
Cook County's chief medical examiner on the report released by her office with some very alarming statistics. 1,009 homicides to date, which is the highest in 27 years. 156 children or teenaged victims. 96% of the victims African American or Latino, and a 40% increase in homicides since 2019. Several
of those homicides have cut down students at the University of Chicago, which was once a hotbed for the defund the police movement. And by the way, an increasing number of these crimes are committed by juveniles, who usually aren't charged as adults. Remember the 2 teenage girls in Washington, D.C., who carjacked and killed an Uber Eats driver in broad daylight? They were both sentenced to juvenile detention until they're 21. They're getting just a handful of years in prison for murdering somebody. Gangs recognize this, and they're encouraging more kids to get involved in the criminal activity. In Chicago, authorities just arrested a preteen for carjacking.
The Vehicular Hijacking Task Force arrested an 11-year-old on November 26 for felony aggravated vehicular hijacking. Let me say that again, because that shocks the conscience. Our task force arrested an 11-year-old.
Meanwhile, in St. Louis, shots rang out as the mayor was talking about gun prevention.
Oh, isn't that wonderful? My son and I fall asleep to the lullaby of gunshots in the distance every night because I'm the first mayor in over 20 years to be born, raised, and still live in North St. Louis. And it's unfortunate, yes, I heard it, but I didn't flinch because, I guess it's a part of my life now.
What's the common thread linking all these cities? Look at who's funding the prosecutors. In St. Louis, Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner's campaign took more than $200 grand from a group backed by the billionaire George Soros. Soros knew what he was paying for. Gardner was open about her desire to stop prosecuting crimes. 2 years ago, Gardner declared, quote, "We have to tear down the system. The system's going to do what it's going to do, and that is to cause harm. The system has caused harm by what is called mass incarceration." Gardner's followed through on that promise. Data from 2019 show that Gardner issued warrants for just 23% of the cases brought by the St. Louis police. Soros has also funded DA Larry Krasner in Philadelphia, Kim Foxx, Chicago, and George Gascon in LA. There are no campaign finance limits on these local elections, so Soros is free to spend millions on them. And he's not the only one doing it. In San Francisco, some of the richest people in the country got Chesa Boudin elected DA. A PAC supporting Boudin's campaign received $1 million from the wife of Dustin Moskovitz, who co-founded Facebook. This so-called Real Justice PAC supports prosecutors like Boudin across the country who want to ignore the laws on the books. One big supporter of the group is Patty Quillen, the wife of Netflix's chairman Reed Hastings. Boudin's campaign also directly received tens of thousands of dollars from Caitlin Krieger, the wife of Instagram's co-founder. As a result, San Francisco looks like this.
The sounds and sights of Union Square are not as pretty today as they usually are. Windows are boarded up at Louis Vuitton, crews replacing an entire door at this Yves Saint Laurent. Windows are shattered at Burberry with a hole still left over on its door. Wooden boards also covered the windows at Hermes. A witness captured the moment people tried to break in.
When I passed by Hermes, there are a group of people, I would say it's really around 100 people. And then after I passed them, they just started to try to get into Hermes, and they started cracking the glass.
Union Square is often the target of organized retail theft and looting.
If you're wondering how to stop all this and get crime under control, it helps to remember where we've been before. Take a look at this chart. It shows how police budgets have changed since 1994, the last time crime was completely out of control in this country. Those budgets have gone up 46% in the last 2 decades. Now look at the effect on homicide rates. They dropped 32% per capita. In other words, increasing police budgets helps. That's proven. But it's not the full solution. Cops can only do so much. You also need prosecutors to punish criminals. One researcher at the University of Texas found that about 25% of the 1990s crime drop can be linked to increased incarceration, which only happens when prosecutors get convictions. That's not happening nearly as much as it should be. So how can we fix this problem and save our cities?
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.